So I know it is 9 o'clock in the morning and it's a very odd time, but my family is asleep. So this gives me time to get some things done. I'll probably be up in a few minutes. But there is a topic that I've been wanting to talk about for a while now. Um, and I need to go ahead and talk about it so that it's not in me and festering. Maybe you're still in the bed and you can watch from your bed, um, or you can share with a friend. But the topic is everything is not for everybody. So people tend to think that if it's of the earth, then it's for everybody. All right, so what I'm talking about is herbs, um, sea moss, smoking, all of these things. People tend to think that it's of the earth, so it's for everybody. In my office, I see so many people who, you know, all of us, most of us believe in herbal remedies, but you'll have people who come in and they grab valerian root or they grab the lemon balm tea, and I'm there, and I have this holistic knowledge as well as the traditional medications. Just like every medicine is not for everybody, every pill is not for everybody, every herb is not for everybody. So we'll talk about it, and some people will be on blood pressure medications, big pharma prescribed blood pressure medicine, and valerian root and lemon balm, those type of things, and so many other herbs lowers the blood pressure, and they have no clue. They've just heard about it. This is good stuff. This is healthy stuff that will help you. So they go ahead and grab these different herbal teas and you mix them on top of your prescription medications, and you can have a situation. Another thing, I never advocate for you to stop taking your prescriptions and switch to herbs. That's not what I do. I do have a lot of cards in my office that I can refer you to an herbalist who, or a holistic doctor, and that might be their specialty. But my thing is, if you have a doctor and you are on medications, you should not be switching over to herbs on your own. It should be a conversation that you are having with your provider to make sure that it's a safe transition from these pills to herbs. So that's another thing. Then with the sea moss, it's of the earth, but everybody just jumps on board and starts taking it. For me, every time I tried sea moss, my lips got swollen, my little bumps popped up all in my mouth, all around my lips, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, this has to be something else. This has to be something else. And as a nurse, I know what an allergic reaction is. My lips got all red, and I'm still like, no, it can't be. They say sea moss is good. I want to try it in my smoothie. And every single time that I put it in my smoothie or took it with applesauce or however, I got the same reaction, which is an allergic reaction. And I could not find much information anywhere about anybody else saying they had an allergic reaction to sea moss. And when I talk to sea moss makers, they're like, well, it was a bad batch. Tried another batch. My lips get swollen, red, and this lasts for about 2 weeks. My lips are big and puffy, and I have to take Benadryl, and the skin starts coming off. This is clearly an allergic reaction, and even I couldn't believe it. So I know that there might be somebody out there who is like, this is something else. This is my lotion, and this is this. It could be these herbs and these new products that you are bringing on board. So you need to have a discussion with somebody who's knowledgeable about the products before you just assume that sea moss is good for you. All these herbs are good for you. And let's get to the real topic at hand that I want to talk about. Smoking is not good for everybody. Now, I know on the internet we do a whole lot of debating our side of the point, and she just don't know what she talking about. If this doesn't resonate with you, that's perfectly fine. If you feel like herbs, cannabis is for everybody, that's perfectly fine. That might be true in your life. But from experience with working with a lot of people, especially young people, it's not good for everybody. It can help a lot of things, but for some people, spiritually, it's not good. And let me explain. So when you are smoking your cannabis, I don't know what words I can say to not get, shut down. I think marijuana is a word I could say, but when you are smoking, you are opening yourself up spiritually. That's why it's called getting high. You are getting lifted. You are getting elevated, okay? For a lot of people, a lot of us, we are already on a natural high. We wake up like, hey, and we're already in that high space. So if you then turn around and smoke an herb on top of that, you are just lifting yourself more out of your physical body. That is why you look around and you start talking, and people, when they smoke, they start talking to things and asking these deep questions, and the consciousness opens, and why are the trees connected, and all this stuff that you're saying that people might be like, yeah, you high. That is because you are. It's opening up your consciousness. But if you are already a person who, for one, came into this world with a big consciousness, these big wide-eyed babies, they come into this world already awake and paying attention, and they should be asleep, and then they get about 16 and they try smoking with their friends, and then all of a sudden it's like he didn't come back from smoking, and everybody's like, it had to be laced with PCP, had to be laced with something. No, this could be a child that is just spiritually open, crown chakra, third eye, all these things are open, and they're just an enlightened type of person, and they're young, so they don't know how to control that from the first. That's the first thing. They don't know how to control being spiritually open. And then they go try some of this smoking, which opens them up more. And then you got a child who can't focus in school. They're acting out. The parent is taking them to this psychologist and this therapist. What is wrong with my child? They were doing well in school, and now they can't even focus. They were doing well in college, and they can't even focus. I've seen this so much in my office. And even before I opened in the emergency room, the young people coming in and they're just wide-eyed, and you can tell that they're spiritually open. But in the emergency room in a regular hospital, it's like, oh, this child has schizophrenia, this child has this, they have that, because they're hearing things, they're seeing things. In the spiritual sense, they are too open. Good morning, MC. So it's like, you have to know what you're doing. Just because it's a herb, just because it's from the earth and everybody is using it, does not mean that it's for everybody. So what you do is you think about yourself. If you wake up and you're already on 1,000, you might not be somebody who needs marijuana, or from what I hear, not the type that gets you high, maybe CBD, I don't know. But you are already heightened, so you don't need to raise your vibration anymore, because it's going to make you not be able to sleep. And a lot of people tell me, well, I smoke marijuana for anxiety, which I honestly cannot process that, because if it has the THC in it, that's getting you high. I understand that there's a balance between the THC and the CBD portion and the sativa and all this, but if it has something that heightens you, I can't process how that helps with anxiety for everybody, because a lot of times we have anxiety because we are, again, heightened spiritually, and we're hearing everything and we're feeling everything, we're feeling everybody's emotions, and then somebody tells us, yeah, I smoke because it helps with my anxiety, so we smoke, and then we never get rid of that anxiety because that was not the remedy for us. Sometimes the remedy is things that you don't even think about, like reconnecting your spirit to your body. Anxiety and depression and those things are really, in a spiritual sense, related to a disconnection between the spirit, the mind, and the body. Basically, you are floating above your body, or your spirit and your body is disconnected. You've heard some people describe it as like a freeze response for depression. You're in this area where you're just stuck and frozen emotionally. You don't know what you're feeling. This is another topic in itself, because you can break depression and anxiety. You can break every mental illness down spiritually. There is a spiritual component, and usually the spiritual component is the cause, even though nobody will say that because it just doesn't sound, scientific. It doesn't sound right, but it's right. There is that spiritual component where you are disconnected. So that root chakra is not connected to this earth. Your spirit is not connected to this earth. So you start to feel like, why in the heck am I here? Why am I living? Or I can't even figure out what I'm feeling. I just feel blah. I don't know my purpose. I just feel out of place. All of these things are your spirit disconnected from your body, first off. When we have a lot of body image issues where we don't feel content with ourselves, we don't feel content with our body, we don't feel content with who we are, all of that is root chakra. All of that is your spirit not being settled in this body, not being settled on this earth, which looks like depression, anxiety, all these other things. And then, the energy travels up to all these other energy centers, and each energy center, each chakra means something. Each chakra is really a level of consciousness. So if you don't first connect on that basic level of consciousness, that root chakra level where your spirit feels content in your body, and your body and spirit feel content on this earth, you're going to have all of these things that can be explained. You're not going to be able to sleep. You're going to be hearing things and seeing things that other people cannot see. And it might not be that it's not there. It very well might be there. I mean, there's multiple realms. Again, this is stuff that I talk about in my office, but not in a public space like this, because a lot of people don't get it yet. And they like, oh, she talking crazy. But it's factual. There's a lot of things that we cannot see with our naked eye, and you can open yourself up to that by using these different vices: marijuana, mushrooms, taking a trip, all of this stuff. Some of us are already there. We already see, we already feel, and it's like you're trying to go deeper in your spiritual journey by using things, when all you have to do is just tune in and focus. So that's something that's been on my heart, because I see so many young people in my office with these unexplainable reasons why they were perfect. Well, they're very explainable, but unexplainable to the family, unexplainable, inexplicable is the word to everybody in their vicinity. But for me, it makes perfect sense. Little man, when it smoked, and he thought that he was like everybody else when he came into this world as an enlightened being, or he became an enlightened being. It's usually like a young man that's tall and skinny. There's a body type to this too. There's a lot of books about it that will explain. You can I don't want to go too deep to where it's confusing, but they usually kind of have the same persona, the same way they come into my office, and they're spaced out, big eyes. They were doing so well in school, remarkable individuals, and they got into some type of smoking of something, and everybody thinks it's something major, like it must have been LSD, it must have been this and that, and it's simply marijuana. And then you get, it was bad marijuana. No, this young man, and for some reason it's been a lot of young men, but it can happen to anybody. He was already on the path to enlightenment, opening up spiritually and everything, and then goes off to college and comes back a totally different person, and the family just cannot understand. And it is because while he was away, for one, that's the root chakra, he wasn't grounded, he wasn't connected to the earth, he was no longer connected to his family, so he was susceptible to the things that were in college. He was susceptible to the people and the different energies that can, come at you to try and throw you off. And then he went to a party, he tried a little something, and now he comes back home and he can't even function. He can't even make a sentence. And no mental illness runs in the family. All of these things, and nobody can understand it. But when we do that spiritual work, when we start breaking it down and working on his energy and regrounding him and reconnecting his spirit to his body, all of a sudden we get all of these beautiful results that you cannot explain scientifically, but it makes perfect sense spiritually. The baby got too far out of connection with his roots. Okay, so it is so important to know who you are, and to understand that everything is not for everybody, even if it is from the earth. I once didn't know who I was, and now I know who I am. And there is no way you're gonna get me to try a whole lot of stuff, because I'm like, I will be Cuckoo Bird. My nickname is already Bird. I will be Cuckoo Bird. I'm already a little bit out there, you know what I mean? And I cannot see myself doing mushrooms. All my clients ask me these questions. Have you tried mushrooms? Have you tried ayahuasca? All the things that the shamans do. And I'm like, yo, to be honest with you, I know that's not for me, at least at this point in my life, because I am already too bubbled head. My mind is already too far, open, and that is a lot of us. Before I close, because I know I'm going around in circles, I don't have any notes, so I'm just talking off my mind and my heart. But before I close, that's another thing that's very important. When you are opening yourself up spiritually, you are not working on your third eye first. Everybody works on their third eye. I am getting enlightened. I am waking up. What can I get to open my third eye? I get that question every single day. Nearly every single day I get that question multiple times. You are not wanting to work on third eye stuff before you work on root chakra stuff. If you open up your third eye, it's really not even possible. Even though all these books say it, you can open your third eye. This is how. If all these other levels of consciousness are blocked, you're doing nothing but stirring up stuff up here. Okay, so when you're working on your third eye, but you haven't worked on the lower levels, you're making yourself unstable. That is why you feel like your intuition doesn't work, because you are unstable. You are disconnected from this world. Your spirit is not connected to your body. As long as you feel like that, you're gonna always feel like my intuition is not working. My third eye is not working. And everything is gonna feel off. You're gonna constantly feel like, I don't know my purpose. Which direction should I be going? And your friends or whoever, whatever book you're reading is gonna tell you, get your intuition stronger so you can know what's best for you. No, get connected to your body and be comfortable in who you are first. Get connected to this earth and be comfortable in that you are physically here. You are spirit, but you are physically here. So get comfortable in that first, that I am here on this earth. And then as you settle into yourself, settle into your environment, and the fact that you are here and you have things to do, the energy will travel up. And as you work on yourself, the intuition starts to open, and you start to feel a sense of your voice, your understanding of life. It's not working on third eye and doing all these meditations and buying all these third eye crystals and all of that. You're gonna have issues. You're not gonna be able to sleep. You're probably gonna see stuff. You're probably gonna have bad dreams because you're not connected. You're just floating out there and wherever. Okay, so anywho, I can go on and on about this, but if you want to know more, of course, continue to follow, or you can book your one-on-one appointment at thelisteninghands.com. And appointments are virtual and in person. When we do a virtual appointment, it's just like this. But I work from my office. I work from my healing space when I'm doing a virtual appointment, and I go into the healing room with you. So whether you're present or somewhere else, a lot of people do connect with me because of this Instagram, and we do this same type of healing work. We can check your energy centers and see what's blocked and go ahead and unblock them. Energy travels, y'all. There's no time or distance on the work you can do. That is why you think about somebody and they call you. I say this all the time because that's the most primitive example of it. But if somebody is focused on you, they can tap into your energy. And that's another conversation in itself, because people can tap into you. Goodness, I don't want to scare you too much, but they can tap into you knowingly and unknowingly. So when these people are in your DMs and they talking about, do you want a reading? You should not even converse with them, because first of all, they shouldn't connect with you in the DMs for a reading. And if you do some type of talking, they're going to tell you, well, I saw your picture and it seems like this and that. Go ahead and book a reading. You don't want these randoms tapping into your energy, or even somebody that you know tapping into your energy. So, anywho, let me close before we go too far. Thank you for being here. Have a great morning and self-care Sunday.